Fellow Kenyans, we are here today to speak nothing but the truth. We are here today to say to our president and the government of Kenya what his friends will not tell him. We are here to say what members of parliament will not tell him. We are here not on behalf of a political party, not on behalf of an NGO, not on behalf of Azimio or the opposition, not on behalf of any political party. We're not here on behalf of Kenya Kwanza. We are here on behalf of the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Tuko hapa kusema ukweli kwa niaba ya wananchi wa Kenya. And maybe, Mr. President and your team, nobody has told you that the real problem you have is that Kenyans have lost trust in you. Kenyans have lost trust in government. You have friends around you that tell you everything is okay. But I want to tell you, we have lost trust in government. We don't believe you. We don't trust you. And there is nothing as bad as a trust deficit, a trust deficiency. Kutoaminika, hamuaminiki. When you say something, we don't believe you. When you promise, we know you will not fulfill. In fact, we don't trust you because as a government you have inherited a tradition of mistrust. You have borrowed money on behalf of Kenyans without passing through parliament. And then we as Kenyans have got to pay for it. The so-called debts are accumulated from tons and tons of monies borrowed on behalf of Kenyans to do projects. The projects themselves we don't know, not accounted for. Talk of the SGR. The contract is still secretive. Talk about the expressway. The cost was inflated. Talk about any project, some of them we don't even know where they are. We know there was borrowing of Eurobond funds. What those funds did, nobody knows. We have incurred billions and billions and now going into trillions of shillings borrowed on our behalf, and instead of accounting for them, you are forcing Kenyans to pay more. Mr. President, we don't trust you for that. So that even when you talk about housing, when you talk about this new bill, and it is all about more money, more taxes, more this and more that, we don't want to pay that money until the real questions are answered. Where have all these funds gone? Where have the trillions gone? Now, another thing is we know, and the international media has even picked it up, that as soon as monies are borrowed, there are Kenyans that hide that money in offshore accounts. We know there are a few Kenyans that have tons, billions upon billions in offshore accounts. The so-called Pandora Papers. You know that, Mr. President. And as Kenyans, we know something is wrong because we are broke and all you can do is ask us for more money. So this is what we are saying. In order to fix your financial problems as a leader, don't tax Kenyans more. Bring back the billions that are hidden in offshore accounts. Bring them back. In order to fix this problem, remember your predecessor said, and you were part of government, that we were losing about 2 billion shillings a day. 2 billion shillings a day. That would be nearly 700 billions a year. Now, the first thing you need to do, Mr. President, and your team, is stop the economic hemorrhage. Stop the economic bleeding of our economy. And there will be at least nearly 1 trillion injected into our coffers. If you brought back the billions stashed away, we would have another trillion or so. So the problem is not the Kenyans. Kenyans are not refusing to pay taxes. The issue is, what are our taxes doing? Where are you investing them? And Mr. President, it's not as if we are so naive to the schemes and the threats that you're issuing to your members of parliament. You are in control of parliament not because you had to, but because you bought the independent candidates, you bought some of the opposition candidates. In other words, you are posing for a dictator. You want to dictate things on us. You want us to do your bidding. You want us to do what you want. The truth is, we don't want a dictator. We want a leader that is one of us, that feels like us, that thinks like us, that eats trouble like us. We want a leader who understands us. You don't understand us, Mr. President. And I'm shocked, and I will still be shocked, if the members of parliament we have elected will just come and say, okay, we will vote because he said tutaona. Mr. President, even if they vote for the bill, we will know it's because you forced them, because you threatened them. And that is not good leadership. And we also know that you really do not mean well for the people of Kenya, because if you did, you'd be thinking about food and not houses. If you have food, you can work. Not everybody can be able to work on the house constructions and so on. You don't want to force our graduates to do that. Just do the right thing. Restore trust. Seal off the loss of funds. And I plead with you, if you do the right thing, Kenyans will listen to you. If you do the right things, we will actually be willing to pay and pay more taxes. We don't know where our monies will go. That is the truth. And we are afraid that you are going to be pushing Parliament to pass this bill because of selfish motives, because of wanting to be in office in 2027, because of wanting to assert yourself as a powerful leader. We've seen them. They've come and gone. You want to be like them. We plead with you not to be. And we ask you, Mr. President, to stop using churches for political meetings, for campaigns for 2027. It's enough what you did to the churches. Stop using pastors and bishops in the name of political expediency. And pastors, stop inviting politicians to cheat you that they're coming to worship with you when they're actually coming to politic and insult one another. Mr. President and your deputy, enough is enough. This is what will happen. You may actually succeed in making that bill go through because you'll coerce or pay or do whatever it is, the members of parliament, threaten them or something, and the bill will pass. But we tell you, if it passes by force, you can be sure as many as are watching that happen will not want to vote for you in 2027, even if you manage to reach there. But we will also be coming together as Kenyans. And I am ready to be able to stand with the workers of this country, to stand with the poor of this country, to stand with persons with disability of this country, to stand with the youth of this country, to stand with women of this country, to tell you, you will not dictate financial and economic solutions on us. You will not force us into poverty. You will not force us into hunger and starvation. We will not watch our children stay at home because we can't pay their fees. Mr. President, you are only one person. We are 55 million. If you force things on us, we will force you out. And there are many ways to force you out. We don't even have to, do your customary things. You think about rioting, if it is truly God who brought you into office, and you begin to behave the way Rehoboam did, the way Nebuchadnezzar did, thinking you are invincible, you know what? God is able to smoke you out of office. We've said this thing to you in so many ways, but you don't seem to be listening. So I tell you once more, it doesn't have to be parliament and impeachment. It doesn't have to be riots. We trust in the same God you say you trust, and He can bring you down. I've told you because I love you. Turn around, do the right thing. Kenyans are suffering. You cannot continue to impoverish them. And I'll just close by telling you this. Even the greatest captain of the Titanic said, even God in heaven cannot sink this ship. It sank. If you remember how the Douala crash happened, my friend was alluding to it this morning online. The captain and the first officer were quarreling. They were not agreed about the skies. The weather was bad. And it was not right for them to fly. But they insisted. And the automatic navigation gadgets failed. They were quarreling. If the weather is bad, if the people are telling you no, if people are telling you wait, things are not okay, if you insist, of course you will crash. Of course the ship will sink. And I will tell you, like I told your predecessor, sometimes it is exactly the way Garth Hewitt sang. Nero's watching video while Rome begins to burn. Nero's wearing roller skates so he can quickly turn. Get away from what he doesn't want to see or to hear. Nero is wearing headphones and they stretch from ear to ear. Nero's got a private world for which the heart may yearn. And Nero's watching video while Rome begins to burn. Don't let Kenya burn. Don't let Kenya sink. Don't drive us into the skies when the weather is bad. Don't destroy this lovely Kenya. You've heard me. You've heard me. God bless you and God bless Kenya.